A lot of you watching, sadly, are in groups that meet every Shabbat and do this kumbaya circle. Either you're getting nothing out of it because nobody knows what they're talking about, or you're getting a lot of very strong opinions and you don't know which one's right, if any of them. So you don't know what to do with it. There's a very common practice out there, or tradition, or routine that's out there, where people get together on Shabbat and they read through the Torah portion. And they'll read through the Torah portion and they'll sit around and then everybody shares. And that's all good. Not necessarily a bad thing just in itself. But what is being shared could be accurate and could be completely off the wall and wrong. It could be anything, okay? I'm not a big fan of that format. I'm a fan of having a discussion that is moderated. So if you want to do that, as long as there's somebody who can say, hold on, wait, that's not exactly true. You need somebody to do that. Somebody out there is listening, well, what makes you the qualified person? Nothing. Don't listen to me. Okay? But I'm just telling you, the safety is in having an Ephesians 4:11 teacher or prophet to moderate the discussion. Okay? So whenever I go to a group, in the past I've gone and visited with groups, and that's kind of their little circle of, I used to call it the kumbaya circle. Everybody gets to say something, everybody's all loving on each other, and there's no fighting or anything, but it's just people just want to be heard, and I get that. That's why we allow for you to we encourage you to ask questions. Okay? I would even, in the past when we had feasts, I would encourage a midrash. In other words, an actual discussion that somebody stood up and said something, and I would say, anybody want to comment on what they said? I was moderating. I wasn't even answering just back and forth questions. I let somebody bring somebody up and something up, and somebody else wants to say something about what they just heard, and it can go back and forth. But it's under structure, it's organized, it's supervised, okay? And I think that's the main need that's out there. Okay, a lot of you watching, sadly, are in groups that meet every Shabbat and do this kumbaya circle, and you don't know either you're getting nothing out of it because nobody knows what they're talking about, or you're getting a lot of very strong opinions and you don't know which one's right, if any of them. So you don't know what to do with it, okay? At least here, you're gonna know what the leadership's opinion is, okay? There's gonna be something that will say, this is how we see it, okay? I'm very happy to hear how you see it, and then if I think it's right, I'll say, listen, right on. If I don't think it's right, I'll say, I think it might be off a little bit, here's why. Okay, and then we'll explain. So hopefully people understand that, because this is the majority of the Hebrew roots Messianic community on Shabbat does the Torah portion, okay? We do it Friday night. I think it's valuable. Why? Because it's the foundation of everything is the first 5 books. Okay, everything in Judaism and Christianity, all the people that use this book is built on what's in the first 5 books. That is your foundation books. All right, so we should kind of review them on a regular basis. Once a year, we go through the whole cycle. That's great. But there's other stuff in other books that's connected to what we read in the first 5 books. And sometimes you actually have to go to other books inside of here to fully understand something that was in the first 5 books, because it's discussed other places. And so you need a teacher to then topically take you through that. Now, some people might try to topically take a Torah portion and pull one little topic out and try to focus on that. I used to do that many years ago. Like 25 years ago, we did that, okay? But then you're only getting that little piece of the Torah portion. We're doing Leviticus 11's Torah portion, Shemini, and I'm just gonna talk about kashrut, okay? Other things happen in that Torah portion, but I might just talk about kashrut. Where in the one with Leviticus 23, I might just talk about the holy days, okay? Other things are happening though in that Torah portion. So it's one of those kind of things, right? Because if you happen to sit in one of those, and I don't mean to mock and say that, but one of those group discussion things, okay? I know some of you, on one hand, I get it, you want to have a say, you want to share your point, you want to feel smart, or you want to just, because you really believe something strongly, whatever it is, okay? Realize, as soon as you're the one teaching and sharing, if anybody's gonna listen to you, that judgment now is on you if you're wrong. Okay, I want you to be afraid. Not afraid like trembling. I want you to have a proper awe, respect for anybody that shares that somebody else may listen, That's on you. And according to scripture, that's a double judgment. So don't be so quick to be like, oh, I'm going to set you straight and tell you about this subject or that subject or this thing. You might be right, but what if you're not? Do you really want to step out in that role? Now, I'm not saying that to discourage you to come up. If you're going to come up and say, hey, this is what I see, and then you have a moderator teacher to say, very good job, or saying, well, maybe you need to look at it. That's different than just each one sharing and thinking they're teaching. And then they're starting to go back and forth to try to make the point why they're right and the other person's wrong. And you may be the one that's right, but what if you're not? You might be thinking, well, Rabbi, what if you're wrong? That's okay, it's my job. That judgment's on me. I accept that. An elder could tell you, I have a lot of awe and respect for the fact that I have all that on me. I think through and I'm careful with things that we decide to do from this microphone. Now, I just want to throw that out there because I don't think we have enough awe, reverence, and respect for when we speak about what he said, okay? About the word. When I say, not that you're not treating the word reverently, but if you're wrong about how you are explaining it or wrongly interpreting it, somebody may listen to you and then go off in a wrong direction.